Welcome to Clarity Currents, the secret podcast with me, 𝙗𝙨𝙨, where I share weekly channeled messages about the energetics of the week and the areas of opportunity, so you know how to work with the energy rather than in resistance to it, and know how to leverage it for your highest level good in your business, relationships, health, wealth, spirituality, and legacy. This is Clarity Currents episode for the week of September 15th through the 21st, 2025. Let's dive in. When I tune into the overall energetics of the week, I see a vision of this cracked, dry earth, like it's been through this long drought. And then, almost out of nowhere, these tiny wildflowers begin sprouting through the cracks. First one, and then another, and then the whole landscape is transformed in this unexpected color and life. This is the energy that we're in right now. The moment where something inside you blooms after it's felt like this long, dry season. You may not have seen that progress outwardly, but underneath, your roots have been growing stronger. So what's sprouting now, whether that's ideas, decisions, clarity, opportunities, is a result of everything that you've been healing through behind the scenes. This week might bring emotional intensity, but it also is going to bring miraculous clarity. Very much this sense that life is about to look different because you are different. And the message is clear. What's ending is meant to, and what's beginning is already taking root, even if you can't see the full garden yet. So here's a question you can ask yourself. Where in my life is something quietly blossoming, even if it still feels messy or uncertain? Business for the week of September 15th. When I tune into the energetics of business this week, I see a vision of a woman burning her old business plan and walking into the ocean, open palms facing the sky. This is a week for burning the blueprint. Anything in your business that feels forced, performative, outdated, or built from fear instead of purpose, let it go. Especially if it's tied to an old version of you, old revenue models, shoulds, or even offerings that no longer resonate. We're being invited to build from soul, not just strategy alone. And for some, that might mean an intentional pause before the rebuild begins. Some questions you can ask yourself are, where have I outgrown my current business identity? What would it look like to lead my business from the highest values, not my old fears? And what part of my legacy am I ready to commit to, even if no one claps yet? Relationships for the week of September 15th. When I tune into the energetics of relationships this week, I see a vision of two people trying to have a conversation across a canyon. Both are shouting, yet unable to hear each other. And there's a tension here, especially early in the week. Old triggers, childhood wounds, any unhealed power dynamics may surface, especially in family and close partnerships. But the lesson here isn't to prove your point, it's to deepen your presence. By midweek, radical compassion becomes your superpower. Speak your truth, but stay curious and not critical. Your softness is your strength. Something you can ask yourself is, where am I reacting from the present moment or from an old wound? Health for the week of September 15th. When I tune into the energetics of health this week, I see a vision of a person shedding layers of clothing until they stand in the sun, bare-skinned, breathing deeply. It is a detox energy this week, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You may feel a drop in appetite or even a drop in motivation midweek, and that's simply a call to recalibrate. Your nervous system is clearing the clutter to align with your clarity. I also see an illumination around digestive health, immune function, and mental clarity. So watch for any sensitivities or signals from your body because they are sacred messengers. For a tip, you could just ground yourself with intentional rituals this week. Gentle yoga, journaling, nature, mineral baths, whatever brings you out of your head, back into your body, and back into your breath. Wealth for the week of September 15th. When I tune into the energetics of wealth this week, I see a vision of someone releasing a balloon into the sky with their financial goals written on a tag, and then they completely surrender control to divine support. This is not a week for hard financial pushing. In fact, if you force money to come through in a certain way, it may boomerang. Instead, this is about grounding your worth in your values, not your numbers. Any clingy, critical, or even over-analytical energy is going to repel abundance this week. So lean into your joyful service, not any sort of survival mode. An affirmation you can use is, my value is divine. I release control and allow abundance to meet me in ways that honor my essence. Spirituality for the week of September 15th. When I tune into the energetics of spirituality this week, I see a pillar of light shooting down into the earth, creating a crystalline grid right under our feet. And it is a soul deep anchoring. We are being asked to recommit to our spiritual practices, our rituals, and our conversations with the divine. And if you're not grounded in spirit, life might feel overwhelming. So this is your invitation to reweave your relationship with the sacred, with the divine. Allow it to be simple, honest, and real. A prompt you can ask yourself is, what spiritual practice is asking me to be resurrected in my life? And legacy for the week of September 15th. When I tune into the energetics of legacy this week, I see a vision of an artist standing in front of a blank canvas, not panicked, but totally peaceful, slowly mixing new colors on the palette. The old painting was complete, and now this is a new beginning. The message here is that you are not starting over. You're starting from your wisdom. And a blank canvas is sacred. So the version of success that was rooted in perfectionism, proving, or pressure, you are now done with. And now you're choosing to build a legacy from alignment, not expectation. So this week asks, what gets to be different now? What gets to feel like more of you? Let this be the week that you reclaim authorship over your next chapter, because every brushstroke you make this week matters. Something you can ask yourself is, if my legacy started fresh today, what would I paint first? There you have it, Hot Soul, your intuitive forecast for the week. Wishing you a week of clarity, healing, and sacred upgrades. Until next time.